Okay.
What do you want? Yeah. Yeah, first almost identical.
You gotta pray that. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this day you have made, Lord God. We just thank you for your God in the midst of our Father. Thank you for give us the wisdom, the word, the truth that we need to share, that you will have us to share on tonight. We can't do this without you, Lord. Right now, we just honor you and glorify you. We just ask you to be in the midst of this conversation, whether it be one day joining us or one month. All the honor and the glory is yours. In His name we pray.
So you want to just go back and forth on the question? I read first name.
Something in the background of our camera right there. Maybe when we come on, it'll disappear. You see that sliding?
Oh.
Okay, I'm back on. I see nothing.
On there, look.
Hey everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to A and Z Live. We are excited. Waiting on my hubby to come on in. But we are excited, you guys. This is the second of A and Z Live, where all of our amazing couples hop on near and far, asking their questions as it relates to the topic of discussion. So all this week we've been focusing on a quality time with our spouses, and so we did get some questions in throughout the week. And let me let you all know now, for those that are trying to figure out, okay, how do I maybe share my questions without actually being seen when you guys go live? Like, can I just send you my question ahead of time? Sure, you can. Simply go to contact at anthonyandzenobia.com, and I'll make sure I put that up before we get off of here tonight. But if you have a question but you want to keep it personal, you don't really want people to know that you are asking this question, just email your questions to us at contact at Anthony, Anthony, and Zenobia, ZENOBIA.com, and we will discreetly share and answer your question for you. All right, so my hubby should be coming on soon.
Oh, yeah. Let me grab this SD card because that's what they said. Issues.
Okay. Okay. But anywho, so this week we have been, like I said earlier, focusing on quality time and what that means for married couples, Christian married couples. The reason we wanted to focus on quality time this week is because we can really get caught up in the hustle and bustle of life, like all the responsibilities that we have, right? And some of us may have even grew up in a household where both of the parents was working and you rarely got a chance to, be with each other around the dinner table, or you doing things together because they were so fixed and focused on you. And then you find yourself growing up as an adult and you're repeating some of those same habits, right? One thing my husband says all the time, and I'm gonna say me and my husband both say it all the time, that if nothing changes. So we have to be the change that we want to see in our marriage, specifically, because that's what we're focusing on, is God-centered marriages. So let's go ahead and start with some of these questions that we got in this week.
I got the book right here.
We got some very interesting questions, you guys. Very interesting questions. Yeah, that's.
All right, so I'll read number one.
I hear what it say. What do you do when your spouse doesn't want to spend quality time with you?
What do you do when your spouse doesn't want to spend quality time with you? That's a real question.
Yeah.
I think first and foremost, it could be a number of things why our spouses don't want to spend time with us. Number one, you could be too clingy. You may have a spouse that is not that clingy type person, and he or she was like that when you met them, right? And you know how it is when you get married. You think that things are going to change and all the things are going to be in place and in order, but in life things just don't happen that way. So you may have married someone that's just not very personable or clingy, if you would. I don't like the word clingy though, babe.
Because that has a negative connotation.
Yeah, it has a negative connotation.
Well, because women, obviously women like the closeness and all up under you type deal, and a lot of times men are not natural like that.
Yeah.
However, again, if I'm giving my wife what she needs, though, if that's what she needs to meet her emotional needs, then I ought to be willing to do those things to meet her emotional needs.
So are you saying that it's a matter of sacrifice?
It is a matter of sacrifice. I mean, when we think about marriage in general, that's the whole essence of marriage is, or how do we, because when we sacrifice, those are the things that draws us closer to Christ.
Yeah.
And the whole marriage union was modeled after Christ's relationship with the church.
Yeah.
So thinking about how does my interaction with my wife, signify the interaction that Christ had with the church. Yeah. And if we think about it, what were the sacrifices that Christ made for the church?
Yeah.
How did Christ love the church? what did Christ do for the church?
Yeah.
And if when we picture it from that
Mhm.
standpoint, then I should be willing to do
Yeah.
whatever I need to do to ensure that my wife is healthy and whole and satisfied and emotionally taken care
Her
of.
needs are
Mhm.
emotionally taken care
Right.
of. And that's for men too. You do have some men that are very emotional and touchy and feeling all those things. But Christ did not come for himself. And you didn't get married for yourself. Should not have gotten married for yourself. And I think that's the issue with a lot of couples is that when they enter into holy matrimony, they got into it for the wrong reasons. You got into it to be happy. But I think I heard somebody say, or we were reading a book or something, marriage is not being happy, it's about being holy or becoming holy, allowing your spouse to bring out the things that's in you that could be ultimately hindering you from growing in Christ, right? And so many people don't look at it like that. I hear a lot of people say, "I just want to be happy. I just want to be happy," and God's saying, "But I'm calling you to be holy. I'm calling you to be holy." You know what I'm saying? And happiness and holiness are two
separate things.
Two separate things. So
the other thing too, when we think about whether or not you and your spouse are spending quality time together, sometimes our priorities, making sure our priorities are in order, that we're not neglecting to do those things.
Yeah.
And the desire, however, many times stem from our personal relationship. And that goes back to something that we talked about last week about being friends. Mm-hmm. Or we talked about on the video this week that we put out on Tuesday. Are you friends?
Yeah, being friends first.
Like, do you know, that desire to spend time with somebody who you enjoy being with? And there are a lot of couples that I've seen that need to reestablish a friendship.
Yeah.
To where they get to know each other once again, and then there's this desire for them to spend the quality time together.
Yeah, and I wanted to say this when you read that question, because I'm not gonna. It's not all the time something bad that this person may be doing why they don't want to spend time with you. You know, sometimes we can think, well, maybe it's infidelity, maybe he or she getting their rub on with somebody else. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be with me because they with someone else. But again, that's where we got to have those real hard conversations. And I believe, again, being able to reassess your why, like this infamous movie we've all seen, why did I get married? Like, that's a real question that we have to go back and ask ourselves, because when it becomes about us and we just want our needs to be met, we want to be left alone, you know, you can't, that's not even a thing in a marriage. Everybody deserves their time. I'm not saying that. Everybody does deserve their time alone and by themselves. And I think that's good and that's healthy for any marriage, to where we are separate for you know, such a time. But at the same time, you're married. Like, you got somebody in the house with you. And so just be able to have those conversations with your spouse as to why. Like, am I doing something wrong? Like, why don't you want to spend time with me, so we can rectify the situation?
No, that makes sense.
Okay.
You want to read the second question?
Yeah. The second question was, we have small children and don't have the support from family because of distance. Any ideas or advice to help us on being able to spend more quality and quiet time together? So we have definitely experienced that. But you want to chime in on how we can help this couple with, they got small kids, they want to spend quality time, but it's hard because they don't have people in their circle that can help watch the kids while they go out and enjoy themselves. Or
when we talked about seasons, and in marriage we go from season to season. And I remember we were in a season where we were young, newly married with small kids, and our kids are stair steps, so they, you know, they were 4, 5, and 6 at the same time. And we also didn't have that family support, or we didn't have people in our family that we trusted to watch our children. And so we kind of wrapped our life and our quality time and the things which we did around that, those circumstances. So in the beginning, before our boys got old enough to where they could babysit themselves, or we didn't have to have a babysitter, they would, we spent most of what we did together with our children. It still was quality time because we had opportunities to spend time with our boys. At the same time, we had opportunity to spend time with ourselves. and obviously both of us had a desire to spend time with our children and each other, and so it was more family oriented. The quality time that we spent was more family oriented. So that's the short version. And I remember, like, for years, pretty much everything we did together. Of course, there was some time. There was a time where we put the boys to bed early, especially when they were younger. We put them to bed early, and we could always sneak in some time at the end of the night. Before it was time to go to bed, an hour or two, hour and a half after the kids have went to bed. Especially if you have younger children, and even if you have older children, like if they school age, if this is a school night, they need to be in the bed anyway. Because getting their rest is important. So if kids are to bed 8, 9 o'clock, then that still gives you a little bit of time, potentially, depends on what your work schedules are. But you just got to make it work. You like, everybody's situation is different. But what things do you do to make sure that you prioritize it and you make it work with your current circumstance?
One thing I wish we would have done now is, because you have like support groups, right? Like support groups for young families, to where you can build your own community, your own safe haven of other couples that have smaller kids like you, right? And you guys could switch swap. Like one night the Jacksons will watch the Johnsons' kids while they go out on the town, or even maybe go out for the weekend, and vice versa. But that's like community, like building relationships outside of yourself. And so you have to also get to a place of where you can trust other people and establish relationships outside of you and your husband, so that when you need that break, and you got somebody that you can call on. Like he said, we had distance that came between us and our family, because my mom lived in Greenville and we were in Tunica, what have you. But then again, sometimes we had family members that we just didn't want to watch our kids for various reasons. And so if I had to do it all over again, I would definitely have look for support groups with other couples that had same morals and values as ourselves, and we could take turns supporting each other with those quality time moments.
And then of course now, which wasn't as prevalent then. Of course, there's sitting companies and businesses out there that specifically tailored around providing several hours where couples can get away and their children are safe. And a lot of times, like that person can come to the house and watch your kids. You obviously got all your cameras and stuff like that. And of course, that's something you have to, over time, that you build as you begin to make those investments, and then take the time to screen those people and ensure that these are somebody you want to leave your children with. But that is an option today. Obviously, there's a cost associated with that, but it'll be a good investment into your marriage.
Another question.
Number 3 was, should couples do everything together?
No. No, you should not do everything together. Your husband, your wife, they need me time. My husband got a trip coming up. When is it? April, March,
February.
Baby, you know, baby, you ready, okay? And I'm looking forward to him to going. At first I was like, well, I could drive. You can just be in the back and I drive you up there. And he was like, no, I think I want to take this by myself. And I was like, okay, did not get offended, because, he needs that time and I need that time away, to just sit and watch TV and just be by myself. So for that question, no, I don't think couples should do everything.
Yeah, we're all unique individuals, and separation does build a bond, and we have to have our own personal time. We have to have time to ourselves.
Yes.
So even as we talk about quality time, you need quality time with yourself.
Yes.
To continue to explore you, get to know you, to do the things that you truly enjoy undisturbed. Because sometimes what I enjoy doing is working.
Weirdo.
And if I'm out, if I decide, like, I want to go out here and I want to cut some wood, that ain't really something my wife gonna get into.
No.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell y'all what he did today. So this whole week we've been kind of snowed in, y'all. We have been having some crazy weather, but we have really just been enjoying each other's time, right? But as my husband said, he loves to work with his hands, right? So he went and decided to put the doorbell in. I mean, cutting. What did you cut?
Drywall
All on the floor, holes in the walls. all the things. Did I say anything? Nope, because I knew he was happy.
Right.
I knew he was content with doing all that stuff, and I was just reading and frolicking around the house doing me, but he was at peace. He was happy.
Right. And so she had an opportunity to do her. I had an opportunity to do me. And then, tonight we come together. We came and ate dinner, and then we do the live. And then after this, we go watch a movie together. So we came back together.
That's
So
all we're gonna do.
we can do whatever you want. Don't play. So,
okay.
but yeah, we should. You do need those times away, and obviously you need those times together. So no, it's not necessary as a couple that you spend every single waking moment together. Again, we experienced what that was like during the pandemic, and I think we all know that at times we all need a break from one another.
Me too. All right, got one more question. Again, if you guys have any questions before we hop off of here, make sure you send those questions in. All right, last question. It's hard to spend time with my wife. She only wants to watch romance movies when we are alone, then falls asleep right afterwards. We haven't spent time together in months because of this. All right, help this man out. Help this brother out. He's like, he tired of the love story.
Right.
He want to make his own love story.
Right. So we have to have a balance.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't be like, I'm a crime drama. She likes love stories as well. We can't be all love story and we can't be all crime drama.
Yeah.
Like at some point we have to
harmonize.
Yeah, but there has to be some harmony. Like, hey, tonight I'm gonna watch your love story, or hey, I'm gonna watch this series with you that you're really into, and I'm gonna do my best to get into it as well, so we can commune around it. And then if I'm watching my crime drama, again, it'd be the same thing. And you'd be surprised though, especially like me, and you'd be surprised about some of the love dramas that actually turn out to be pretty good.
Yeah.
So don't dismiss it just because it is a love drama. At the same time, again, we talk about sacrifices. Am I willing to make a sacrifice for the sake of my wife to come into her world? So if her world is love, is romance, then I should be willing to make the sacrifice to come into her world, especially if I expect that she's then going to come into my world.
Mm-hmm.
And then but that's the give and the take and the back and forth.
Yeah.
Again, treat people the way you want to be treated. So if you want her to be in your world and to begin to take to some of the things that you take to, you also got to be willing to do that for her.
And Queen, who whatever man sent this in, if you watch the romance novels, you can't just watch it. You got to be it. You got to be about that life. So you can't fall asleep every time the movie is over and he's just sitting there looking at you and y'all watch the whole movie of somebody hugging and kissing and doing all the things in the name of love. You got to make time for him as well. It can't just be about you, So like you said, back and forth. He may want to watch some. Matter of fact, ask him, hey, what you want to watch tonight? Or what you want to do tonight? Tonight's your night, baby. What you want to do?
Right.
Like, make it about him that night and not about you. Again, marriage is not about you being happy. It's about you becoming holy. And I'm not saying that happiness is not a part of it. Matter of fact, holiness encompasses happiness, joy, peace, all of those things. But we kind of go about it backwards. We go after the happiness and all the things that can fulfill us right now in the moment, that microwave solution. Nobody is chasing holiness. And God is calling his people, whether you're single or married, but we're talking to our married couples, he's calling his people to be holy, to be more like him. And so that sound like, that last question was like just communication and somebody that's not willing or needs to be willing to sacrifice. Make a sacrifice.
Right. No, and then too, ladies, if you all are watching romance movies, you have to understand that both of y'all might be aroused, or maybe if you're accustomed to doing it, when you watching other people hug and kiss and be intimate, that may also arouse him. And so if he get aroused, and like he was saying, oh well, after all these love scenes we just got to watch, and then you want to go to sleep. Like, again, you got to understand that we obviously as men are responsible for making sure that we meet our wives' emotional needs. Then at the same token, the expectation is that wives, you're going to meet the physical needs of your husband as well. Intimacy is very, very key. And that's one of the signs of a healthy marriage.
Yeah.
If y'all ain't getting it on, there's something wrong.
Oh, that rhymes.
It does.
It does.
Yeah. But real talk, if you then there's something that's very wrong, and we got to try to plug them gaps and fix that, because all of us know that's a door for the enemy to creep right in whenever we are not sexually intimate. And so whatever the reasons, whatever the excuses, whatever it is, again, we got to work to really fix that. And the only two people that can do that is you and your husband. So we'll provide some advice and some tips and things of that nature. But it's just like the Bible. Again, you have to take it and put it into practice. Again, be you not hearers of the word, just hearers of the word and not doers. Again, it's the same thing. You can listen to all these videos. You can watch all the relationship advice and that sort of thing. But if you don't put none of this stuff into practice, it won't benefit you in a way which it possibly could have.
Faith without works is dead.
That's right.
You gotta work it. You gotta believe it and work it at the same time.
That's right.
I think that's all the questions that we have for tonight. I think that's it. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're not going to hold you. So go back if you have not seen the video that we posted on Tuesday about quality time. Go back and watch that video. Of course, we'll be every Tuesday at noon. Will be a new video for this coming week. We are in Reset Your Marriage, this series, and in this month. And so we'll be going on to the fourth installment in this particular series. Of course, we'll be back next Thursday, 7:15 for our Q&A. So if you have questions, and bring those in. Also, you can visit us on our website at anthonyzenobia.com. And
what they give big on our website?
Oh, yeah. So you can get the free video series by signing up for our newsletter. You can get the free video series, How to End Arguments Fast. Yes. So a video series my wife and I did, that's absolutely free to you. All you had to do is sign up for our newsletter. That way you stay up to date on everything that we're doing and when we're doing it, and to make sure you stay in the loop. So other than that, again, we're on Facebook, YouTube,
Instagram,
and Instagram. And so just check out some of the other content that we pushed out, and then we'll, I guess if nothing else, we'll look forward to seeing you there.
That's it. All right. We love you guys. Okay. Sister Pam says, great Q&A. Thank you all for hopping on, Queen. Thank y'all for hopping on. We love y'all. And we'll be back next Thursday, 7:15 p.m. Central Standard Time sharp.
See you then.
Bye.